Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you that I had a really beautiful and epic breakthrough yesterday at an event I went to during and doing some breath work. And that was that I've held an underlying belief my whole life that I'm not good enough. And I've done a lot of personal development work, and as you guys know, I've shared with you a lot now. There was a lot of scarcity mindset that I grew up with, and I've done a lot of work in reprogramming that and inviting and welcoming abundance into my life. And that all really came to fruition a few years ago. My business boomed, and I retired my husband Rob from fly in fly out work. I was making more money than I ever thought possible, and then everything kind of plateaued. And because my business, I'm so personally and spiritually invested in my business, and my business really is the manifestation of my purpose. Whatever's happening in my business is a direct mirror for what's happening internally in my personal and spiritual world. And so I've spent the last couple of years trying to work through this plateau of business growth. And no matter what new content I put out, no matter what new marketing or mindsets I was applying, I just felt stuck. And I felt stuck for about 18 months now. And not really knowing why. And the last 6 months, I started getting a sense of what that might be. I felt like I was starting to hone in on it, and a few experiences kind of narrowed in the area on the map where I should be looking within myself. But yesterday it came forward with crystal clarity, and that is that I have this underlying belief that I'm not good enough. And I had a very crystal clear image of one of my earliest memories, which I think I may have shared with you in some of my content. And that was when I was 4 years old, and my dad was sitting on the end of a bed putting his shoes on, and I was crying, hugging onto his legs, because that was the last day that our family was going to be whole. My parents got divorced, and it wasn't a very friendly divorce. It was a really painful divorce. And as a very empathic and spiritually attuned child, I felt that the most deeply, I think. And so even though neither of my parents were abusive or anything like that, it was a wound that cut me deeply, and I carried from that moment. In that moment, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't enough for my parents to stay together. I wasn't enough. And I realized that I carried that with me my whole life, and I've always been a super high achiever, but just fallen short. I was always one of those kids that would do really well in school and always had so much potential, but I always just fell short. And in instances where I really could have been great, I self-sabotaged. I was extremely good at sport as a youngster, and when I was running at state level and things, I'd manifest being sick right before a race and I couldn't run, and just things like that. And I realize now, having this underlying belief that I wasn't good enough, not good enough for my I never felt like I wasn't good enough from my parents. My parents have always made me feel good enough, and they've always told me how proud of me they am. This stems from myself. I told myself I wasn't good enough to keep my family together, and so this desire to achieve and to prove something to someone was only ever about proving it to myself on a deep level. But because at my core I believed that I wasn't good enough, no amount of achievement was ever going to be enough. And it kept me in this cycle my whole life of always striving for better results, bigger, better. And in adulthood and in the last few years, success in my business, always striving, always pushing myself. Anyone who knows me well knows how hard I push myself. But to get these super achievements. But because at my core I don't actually believe I'm good enough, I feel like I'm a bit of an imposter, I never will reach that level of greatness that I aspire to, because I make sure I don't, because I'm not, at my core I feel I'm not good enough for that. So that came through to me yesterday, and it was such a relief, and I bawled my eyes out, and but in such a beautiful, healing way. And now is the work. Now starts the work. And the thing about this type of work is that the more you do it, the more work you realize there is to be done. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping other people as well, through my coaching and through my programs and training now, because we're all on this journey together. And just because I'm a coach or a trainer doesn't mean that I don't have a lot of work, and there's still so much about myself that I haven't seen and realized. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to tell you all that I am absolutely enough. I'm enough for you, I'm enough for me, I'm enough for my family, and you are enough too. You're enough for everybody in your life, and most importantly, you are enough for you. So yeah, we all have a lot of work to do, guys, and let's just do it. Let's just do the work and be the best that we can be. And if you're excited about this type of work and unleashing like that full potential and breaking through blocks and just letting go of that trauma, breaking that cycle of trauma for yourself, your children, your legacy, then do the work with me. Join my course CRYSTALIS, which is coming next year. Set yourself challenges, engage with other people that encourage you to do the work too. Never stop learning, never close yourself off. And the more work you do, the more you realize there is to learn. Never presume that you know everything about anything. There's always more to learn and more areas to grow. And just almost as though, well, not almost, but in support of where I am this morning, I'm actually just waiting outside. I'm about to go in and do a yoga class and continue processing this, but my mum just sent me through. Sorry guys, the video cut off for a second there. I was saying my mum just sent me a text message so perfectly. I won't read it to you, it was quite long, but basically it just said that she was, my darling Kate, I'm just sitting here with your book. Although I've read it, I wanted to really sit in presence with it and go over the parts that really spoke to me. And I just wanted to let you know how incredibly proud of you I am. You've always followed your authentic path. You've taught me to be true to myself, and I'm getting teary thinking about it, but it was this affirmation. Even though I've never craved my mum's approval, it was like the universe coming through her voice saying that I was enough. It was really beautiful. So I know I'm on path. The signs are showing me that I'm on path, and then it's now facilitating that healing and that release. And this weekend I am doing my first ice bath. So I always challenge myself, and I've done so many. I'm not a fearful person. I don't have a lot of fear. I've done so many challenges over the years, but for some reason this one just really, really stumps me. And I've always had a fear of cold water. Not a phobia, but I'm averse to it. And so I contacted a friend of mine who facilitates these, and I said, right, I'm coming this Saturday morning. It's time for me to do this. And as I was thinking about it this morning, I was thinking about what it could be, why that particular activity seems so difficult for me. And I think that, when I think about the opposite of an ice bath, I think about a warm womb, amniotic fluid being held, being nurtured, and to me an ice bath is the complete opposite of that. So perhaps there's something in there to do with mother archetype, safety, I don't know, but I'm diving in, quite literally diving in, and I'm going to use that as an opportunity to further explore me being enough in the world. So thank you for witnessing me and joining me on this journey. And I am just so incredibly honored, but passionate and excited to be diving into this with you next year. There's a lot more programs coming out in this space. This is really where it's at for me now. It's applying energy, mindset, the healing journey, and just being the best humans that we can be, shining our light, just stepping into our power. And I want you to come on that journey with me.